At the Hereford Cathedral, a phantom monk was spotted in broad daylight, walking in the cathedral precincts in the autumn and winter of 1934. Also, during the Three Choirs Festival, many visitors were amazed to see a ghost of a monk standing in the northeast of the cathedral, near Lady Chapel, shortly before midnight. At one point, a crowd of almost 200 people gathered in the close, hoping to see the phantom, believed to be a friar killed defending the building when Hereford was attacked by the Welsh in 1055. Can that be true? Well, maybe there was a cathedral there before, but I always thought it was Norman. Anyway, a probable apocryphal is that under ancient law it's legal to kill a Welshman in Hereford, but only in the cathedral close on a Sunday with a longbow from exactly 12 yards. Nevertheless, relatives of mine who live in the county certainly held strong views against the Welsh, but then I'm also suspected that they felt the same way about me, coming from Shrewsbury. A stonemason who carried out work on the cathedral tower made a carving of male genitalia whilst working on the west face of the cathedral tower. It is a stonemason's tradition to do so, and said that anyone looking at it would have to look very carefully to find it. Nevertheless, this is rather tame compared to a carving in a former church, which was uncovered when turned into All Saints' Cafe. This clearly showed a male readying himself to be entered. Sorry, I don't think I can be more explicit on YouTube. I must say that despite winning scripture prizes every year as a child, which involved meeting the bishop at Hereford Cathedral, I never saw any of these carvings. The old Shire Hall is reputedly haunted and built on the site of the original Hereford prison. The Shire Hall consists of courtrooms, dark and creepy cellars, and prison cells. As a former prison, public hangings took place directly outside the front entrance steps of the building. Unfortunate for those who met their untimely death by the hangman's noose. Much ghostly activity has been reported here, such as loud bangs and knocks, whereupon further investigation no living person was present. Also, guests said sounds and heavy footsteps walking down the stairways. Dark shadowy figures are said to have been seen, along with unpleasant odours that have been smelt in various parts of the building. Loud cries and screams are heard coming from the locked up empty cells. Many believe this site is haunted by two men, Alfred Watkins and George Armstrong. In 1864, Alfred was hung outside the Shire Hall steps. Alfred Watkins confessed to murdering his wife Mary, but he was convicted of murdering two men, which he never admitted. Many believe that Alfred had unfinished business, being sentenced to death for killing two men. This location is steeped in history, and the walls of this location hold many secrets, and many of them being gruesome and harsh. Old House in Hightown was built in 1621 as a part of Butcher's Row. This 17th century timber framed Jacobean building has been home to butchers, ironmongers and bankers. Now a museum, the black and white house has been restored beautifully in 17th century style. In the upper stories of the house and in one of the bedrooms, many visitors and staff have reported feeling uneasy. It's as though an entity is still present there. Staff have reported the curtains on the four-poster bed have been rearranged. The bed in the adjoining room all dishevelled as if someone has spent the night there. Originally known as Redcoat Hospital, the Coningsby Hospital is a collection of almshouses in Hereford. It's renowned for where Nell Gwynne knew the hospital and its inmates very well, so she persuaded her lover Charles II to found a similar hospital in Chelsea with the same uniforms to create the Chelsea Pensioners. The founder of the building was Sir Thomas Coningsby of the Great Hampton Court, Herefordshire. Puddles of water mysteriously appear in the chapel. Loud bangs and footsteps are often heard, and monks have been seen in the gardens with their heads down and hoods up by both locals and tourists. A skeleton was discovered on the floorboards of the museum. It's said to have belonged to a lady, and mediums have said that they believe she died in childbirth. At Gwynne Street in 1945, locals witnessed mist and heard the sound of horse hooves clattering, and allegedly the mist formed an apparition of a man on horseback. It's believed to be the ghost of Nell Gwynne's lover, King Charles. Nell's house was demolished in 1858, and all that remains today is a remembrance plaque mounted on a large stone wall. The old bridge and River Wye ghost apparitions are seen walking alongside the footpaths. Horses have been heard galloping over the bridge when the bridge had been empty. The saddest story is of a desperate apparition that is seen when conditions are right, hurling herself from the bank of the river. When sighted, she always seen as being a distressed manner, just a prior. Is this a replay of a suicide? Around 200 years ago, old Taylor struck fear upon the residents of Whitecross Road while pacing the pavements. It was a reign of terror in that neighbourhood where only the hardiest ventured into Sally Walk after dark. It is said that no one ever answered the door on the knock. Word spread that old Taylor was even more troublesome in the flesh than he could have been in spirit, laying claim for ridding Whitecroft of the pest that was a regular from the Nag's Head. It was perhaps known as Dennis the Liar. Old Taylor's spirit was said to have been placed in a bottle and banished beneath the Wye, with his return feared by many. Is this area during the plague? The area during the plague years? It is said that it was a safe drop-off point for provisions that needed to enter the city. What heightened emotions would have existed knowing this? A plague cross was often erected in the area to warn people of this. Often became a permanent structure. There were regular accounts of a particularly audible nature said to occur in one of the homes on Bellevue Terrace. Many of the noises have been associated with the sound of children, sound children may make when running or playing. Once one resident would not find the front door open after they had been awoken from sleep, and they were positive it had been locked prior to going to bed. Once a brewery in two separate buildings, St Owens Chambers, stands impressively on St Owens Street. An apparition of a young girl has been spotted near the stairs, as well as dark shadows from the upper floor. There have also been reports of poltergeist phenomena coming from the cellar. Aubrey Street is considered to be Hereford's most medieval part of the city. The buildings has had reports of poltergeist activity and various sightings of shadow-type figures, particularly present on the top floor of the current office suites. One employee who worked in the premises when it was a solicitor's practice claimed that she felt a spirit of a man to be there to be quite malevolent, and reported coming in one morning to find the glass broken on the photocopier, despite being the last to leave the building, and to see the equipment as it should have been. Well, that'll teach you for sitting on it, won't it? East Street, a poppet or cursed doll, is said to originate from the 19th century. It's currently housed in Hereford's museum. It was found in the crevice of brickwork at 21 East Street. What is particularly sinister is that inside the folds of the dress contained the narrative of the curse itself. It reads, "Mary Ann Ward, I act this spell on you from my whole heart, wishing that you never sleep the rest part of your life. I hope your flesh will waste away, and hope that you never spend another penny I ought to have had, wishing this from my whole heart. Hightown New Look Store was a house towed to its new location in 1966. It is said to be haunted by a herbalist who is said to have accidentally overdosed his assistant, resulting in their death, who subsequently took their own life, plagued by guilt. His ghost is said to remain. Part of the chemist shop can be seen when looking above what is now New Look. It is said that the apothecary haunts the area, still feels guilty for the loss of the life. And many reports were made, particularly when the building was a Littlewood stores, of sightings and poltergeist type activity. In the 1970s, a lady went upstairs to an upstairs office very close to what is now Boots and currently a sports shop. This was at the time an insurance broker's. She had dealt with a gentleman when the business was completed, returned home. It was only the next day she'd realised a mistake had been made. The next day she returned and spoke this time to a young lady who became rather perplexed when the story of the mistake was told, because she insisted the premises had been closed the day before. The lady described the gentleman in depth. She mentioned how he had taken her money, was drinking tea and even signed the document. At this point, the young worker turned white, and they indicated that man had actually died 3 years previously. An old lady is said to haunt Sainsbury store, which was built on the site of the old railway station. She's thought to be a passenger who lost her life at this spot when travelling many years ago. She's been seen on many occasions, but when approached disappears. The old Masquerade Shop staff have for some time acknowledged the presence of a ghost amongst them. Poltergeist type phenomena is a common occurrence here. They appear completely at ease with their guest. Grey Lady haunts the former General Hospital, which was located by the river, but has now been converted into flats. The story goes that the Grey Lady was a nurse who had had an affair with a married doctor. After some time she realised that he had no intention on leaving his wife for her, so she took her own life. Patients in the hospital reported seeing her as offering them help during the night shift. Many patients spoke of her good deeds, but the description of her did not match any of the nurses on the ward. When the ghost went to a patient's bedside during the night, they would always make a miraculous recovery. Wendy, 40, used to work at the hospital as a nurse, said that some of her colleagues would refuse to enter the attic, claiming they felt a shivering sensation when climbing the stairs. Whereas Chrissy Price was also a nurse at the hospital, working night shifts across various wards for many years. She said that most reports of ghost sightings came from the ear, nose and throat department. Aylestone High School, there have been reports of hearing a piano being played, and some claim to see the keys move with no visible rational cause. Belmont Abbey was established in 1859 following the rule of St Benedict. It currently houses about 18 practising monks that belong to a 45-strong community. Someone was once visiting the kitchens belonging to the monastery. It was around 5 a.m. in the morning, and she saw the spectre form of a monk walking behind a lorry prior to disappearing. The Green Dragon is one of the oldest buildings in the city, and there's been an inn on this site for over 900 years. Around the corner in front of Marks and Spencer, an execution plaque is set into the pavement. After losing the Battle of Mortimer's Cross in 1461, Owen Tudor met his grisly fate in Hereford. The founder of the Tudor dynasty and grandfather of King Henry VIII was held prisoner at the Green Dragon Hotel. Erroneously, he thought his family ties would save him from death and was expecting imprisonment. He was brutally beheaded in the centre of the town, and his severed head was placed on the steps of the market cross for all to see. It's said that a madwoman washed the blood from Judah's face, combed his hair and lit 100 candles around the cross. The Horse and Groom in Owens Street is said to have a very cheeky ghost as a penchant for patting women's bottoms. The Oxford Arms in Whitecross Street is supposedly haunted by a girl who died in the fire there at the bakery. A phantom monk has been seen walking past the window of the pub in the direction of Blackfriars Monastery. The Lichfield Vaults in Church Street has great fun moving the beer barrels about in the cellar and throwing beer mats in the bar. The Black Lion in Bridge Street is said to be the most haunted building in Hereford. The Grade 2 listed building is believed to date back to 1550. The pub is known for mysterious footsteps being heard, objects suddenly moving, and a figure known as Alice seen in a top floor window. Its painted room is notorious for noises heard within it, and very popular with ghost hunters. Voices, footsteps and apparitions have had visitors rooted to the spot in fear. The Queen's Arms, although built during the Georgian period, has a ghost which is thought to be Saxon. He's believed to have died when Hereford came under siege in the 11th century. The Booth Hall is now closed, but there are historic reports of the building having been used as a jail and courthouse. One ghost from this venue reports that the chimney breast suddenly collapsed whilst a medium was on site. It's also known for shadows being cast for no reason, and has a very compact tunnel-like cellar with an eerie atmosphere. One of the previous owners of the establishment can also be linked to another apparent haunted location in Hereford. He was the infamous boxer Tom Spring. The Orange Tree claims a murder in 1863, poltergeist activity, frequent fires and objects moving. One ghost could be named John, who was murdered there in 1863. Poltergeist activity is regularly reported, and there was one account of a dog being seen towards the back of the building, close to the bar, with occasional reports of objects appearing to move. The Orange Tree has been investigated several times. The Spread Eagle, according to paranormal reports, there's a female ghost sometimes seen gazing out of one of the windows at the front of this 17th century inn. The Callow Inn stood next to the village church. The inn was ideal for overnight stops, as food and accommodation were on hand, so the horses and passengers would retire at the Callow Inn for the night. Upon arriving, the guests would take their belongings to their rooms and then go down to the Old Tavern's bar for drinking, relaxing and socialising. But for some of these people, they were totally oblivious to the fact that they were soon to be at the hands of a killer. It is known that 2 or 3 characters would visit the inn when learning that a coach of visitors were there, and so the vicious threesome would wait, watch and select their victim in a sly manner, ply him and her with drinks all night, up until all of the other passengers went up to settle for the night. The poor unfortunate soul was then instantly murdered, and the treacherous people would then carry the victim out of the inn and across the fields to an old abandoned house. At the house they stole everything from the body and dumped it there at the house. They would then return to the Callow Inn and enter the victim's room, clear out all their belongings to set the scene that the victim had left of their own accord. The killers also made a cunning plan to make sure that all the other passengers were informed the next morning that the person had decided to stay a couple of nights in Hereford and would not continue the journey. So then nobody would expect to see the missing traveller on board the coach. The lie that was used every time so that the killers could cover their tracks. However, this act reoccurred every time a coach would stay overnight at the inn. People soon became suspicious, and so an investigation went underway, and the evil gang of murderers were eventually caught and immediately hanged. It's been said that the gang would have been executed at Callow Inn, which was once situated near Pembridge Close and near the Belmont Road bridge. When the old house was inspected, human remains of 18 to 30 bodies were discovered rotting away. Soon after the discovery, the locals burnt the horrid house down to the ground and then demolished and carted the remains away. Since the demolition, witnesses have seen the house ablaze on Callow Hill, and there have also been sightings of the house appearing normally, with two shadowy figures seen bent down low dragging bodies. The house is also said to materialise on the hill on various occasions, and the majority of the witnesses of this have seen strangers in the area travelling on the new Callow Hill Road. Hereford police have also had countless reports over the years of a fire sighted on the hill, and upon arrival no house or fire has been in sight. It's unknown where the original house was. Upon entering the village of Callow, you can see the old Callow Inn once stood. This building is now a private home and opposite the village church. Inhabitants of the Callow farm frequently saw an extremely distressed girl going into the bedroom. She's finely dressed except for the fact that one little slipper was missing. Early in the 20th century, the farm underwent alterations, and a wall in that particular bedroom was taken down, and they found hidden behind it a tiny niche, and within it was a little blue slipper. Behind the building are many fields that are the fields that the murderers would have walked across, and the site where the house would once have stood. Field sizes obviously have changed over the years, so it's hard to locate the exact field. It's said that a large mound of grass can be found in one of these fields, and that is where the house was. So presumably one of these fields is where the haunted hill is. When the bell from Marden church ended up in the River Lug, a mermaid apparently appropriated it. Despite the villagers' serious efforts, the bell could not be prized from the mermaid's grasp and remained in the river. In 1848, the villagers were clearing out the pond. They discovered an ancient bell. Might it be the bell the mermaid hid? Kenchester is haunted by the ghosts of Roman soldiers who march through the streets at night when there is a full moon. Beoley, a ghost that haunted this building, was exorcised to the Red Sea for 50 years. And that sort of placing a ghost in a bottle and throwing it in the Red Sea is mentioned very many times by Charlotte Burns in my series on her about Shropshire folklore. When this time expired, however, the ghost came back extremely upset about its forced vacation. Brinsop claims to be the location where St. George had his famous battle with the dragon. The creature lived in Docks Pond Meadow and was finally slain at Lower Stanks Meadow. An old building carving in the church depicts this final battle.